Y'all, we have got a trade situation on our hands. This time we're talking about Jonathan Taylor. According here to Adam Schefter, Colts have given the all-pro running back permission to seek a trade. Now this is a big deal. We're gonna go over fantasy implications, not only for Jonathan Taylor, but the backups that may be there as for the Colts. We may be going over places that he could be going, possibility trade scenarios all over the place, what could happen, and what is the fantasy impact. Sit back, this is gonna be a jam-packed video. Let's get right into it. Jonathan Taylor just 2 seasons ago was the #1 fantasy option in the fantasy football world. This is a big situation where he goes, and depending on where he ends up, could be detrimental. I mean, it could just completely bomb whoever's team if you guys have already drafted, or could have a huge impact on who you're going to draft in different places. It could shake up ADP all over the place. Let's just look at what Jonathan Taylor has done over the last few seasons. Back in 2020, 1,169 yards and 11 touchdowns. 2021, 1,811 yards and 18 touchdowns. That was when he was on top of the world. And then last year, just due to some of the injury issues he had, only 861 yards and 4 touchdowns. But we're looking for him to have some type of bounce back this season as long as he can get on a team that he wants to be a part of. Unfortunately, Jonathan Taylor just wants to get paid, and the Colts, for whatever reason, do not want to pay Jonathan Taylor. So let's kind of look up what happens if Jonathan Taylor is gone and they don't actually trade or add anybody to the mix. I would say the guy that you want in fantasy football is Evan Hull. Evan Hull is a rookie out of Northwestern College. Last season, he ran for Northwestern 913 yards and 5 touchdowns. He's a guy who has good enough speed. He's a good uphill down runner, can really hit the hole the way you should for a fantasy running back. I mean, we're looking at 5'10", 209 pounds. He's got the prototypical size to be a good NFL running back. He ran a 4.47 in the 40-yard dash at the combine. Somebody that I believe could come in, fill in, and be a good fantasy player for your team if he ends up giving him the reins. They do have Kenyon Drake there as well, but I don't think that they're going to go the Kenyon Drake route, even though he could be a viable running back. I think more, maybe not early, but towards the middle to the season, I think this is going to be Evan Hull's team if they don't add anybody in to replace Jonathan Taylor, somebody you can get towards the end of your draft. And I'm telling you, somebody, you never know if Anthony Richardson, the other rookie, the quarterback that comes in, if he can light it up, I mean, you never know. They're going to need a good running game, and Evan Hull can produce that. He does have good enough hands to be good in the passing game. Somebody who can give you a lot of fantasy production as it goes in. But Jonathan Taylor is somebody that it's kind of a shocking situation that we have him going into. People don't want to see him leave a Colt situation that he had so much success at, but there's a lot of places that he could end up to be fantasy viable. So I put together 4 situations right here that I believe could be really good if Jonathan Taylor ends up in this situation. The first place I'm going to talk about is the Miami Dolphins. Now, the Miami Dolphins is a place that we just know, everybody knows that they want a running back in this situation. I mean, Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson Jr., they did get the rookie A-Chain, but he's a really small running back. They want a running back that is going to be able to produce. They're in a need to win now type of mode. They've got all the pieces of the puzzle together, and having a running back would really set themselves apart. They lost on the Dalvin Cook series here. They were really pushing to get Dalvin Cook, and he ended up going to the New York Jets, so they didn't get Dalvin Cook, and that just means a great replacement would be Jonathan Taylor. We do know early on in the offseason, Tyreek Hill said he has a few more years left in him, so the window to win is very short. They want to win now, and getting in a running back like Jonathan Taylor could help them win now. So that would be huge for them. And overall, they have a solid defense. They have a team that can come in and really win now type of players. I mean, they just got Jalen Ramsey as well. He should be back in the week 1 of the season from his injury. Overall, just a very solid team. If we look at Jonathan Taylor going to the Miami Dolphins, let's look at kind of the fantasy assets here. We got, Tua Tagovailoa, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. Adding somebody like Jonathan Taylor to this mix could be an extremely potent offense and would be huge for fantasy football. I would love to see this situation happen. I think Miami would be a great spot for Jonathan Taylor and somebody you can definitely see succeed in fantasy football if this happens. Now let's talk about the other team that I have him going to. Could be the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears is a team that they're just a couple of pieces away. If Justin Fields can continue to develop and become the quarterback that everybody thinks that he can be, you could be seeing the Chicago Bears once again being on top of the NFL. The division is a lot worse now that Aaron Rodgers isn't there, but if you really dive deep on Chicago Bears, they have a ton of draft capital. They moved down into the NFL draft last season, so they have tons of draft capital to go and make this deal done no matter what the Colts want. The Bears have the tools and the pieces to be able to trade to grab Jonathan Taylor. On top of that, what else do they have going for them? Tons of cap space. We're talking about $70 million of cap space 2024 and beyond. The Bears could be an amazing piece of the puzzle. They can afford to pay Jonathan Taylor. I think if anything goes, I think Chicago Bears would be a great situation for Jonathan Taylor, a good running situation. I think they can give up enough pieces to be able to get Jonathan Taylor, so it would definitely make the Colts happy. It would make the Bears happy, and it would just be wonderful. Let's look at kind of what the pieces would be there if Jonathan Taylor went that way. You're looking at Justin Fields, the newly acquired DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, and Jonathan Taylor. It would be a nice young nucleus to build around. Chicago Bears, if this happens, could be a potent offense for years to come. Now, another team that I want to talk about that I could possibly see them going to would be the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, this is another team that there's a lot of things going on right now, a lot of negative publicity. They're a little bit older in the tooth. So this one, I don't know if it would happen, but there's one piece of the puzzle that I think would kind of make this happen. We're talking about Josh Jacobs currently being upset with his contract situation. He was the best running back in football last season, and he wants to get paid that way, and the Raiders like, no, I'm not going to pay you. So I'm kind of proposing a Josh Jacobs for Jonathan Taylor type of scenario, 1-for-1, make it happen. Put them, somebody may have to put up a little bit more money than the other one just to make this deal kind of work and compete, but overall, that could be a fair trade in my eyes. The problem is that no one is going to get paid in a situation. The Colts don't want to pay Jonathan Taylor. The Raiders doesn't want to pay Josh Jacobs. It's just a situation where nobody wants to pay anybody. So even if this trade happens, you could probably see Jonathan Taylor not being happy because the Raiders aren't going to want to pay Jonathan Taylor if they trade him because they're not wanting to pay Josh Jacobs right now. So it just doesn't make a sense to me. But if he did go to the Raiders, it's somebody that I could see them happening to. Look, we're talking about Jimmy Garoppolo. We're talking about Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, and Jonathan Taylor. Could be a really good offense this season. But again, Devontae Adams getting a little older. Jimmy Garoppolo's a little bit older. So I don't know if adding a young running back, even having to trade like this, would help because Jonathan Taylor wants to get paid. I don't see the Raiders paying them. Now, I do have a dark horse team right here that I'm talking about, the last team in this situation. I'm talking about the Arizona Cardinals. Now, the Cardinals have a lot of things working for them in the situation of just the team in whole. They have a good quarterback there in Kyler Murray. Not sure if he's going to play this season. We're going to have to see. Could be Colt McCoy's team. But if they choose to kind of punt this season, kind of go away from the season and play for 2024, they can make the Jonathan Taylor show work. Let's just look at it. The Arizona Cardinals have good cap space. We're talking about $45 million in cap space, kind of about the middle of the road in the NFL right now, so they can afford to pay Jonathan Taylor. I mean, they want to build for the future. Like I said, they have a lot of pieces in place that could make this happen. I just think it just really does make sense. Now, if we look at the Arizona Cardinals, and it'd probably be more of 2024, but we're talking about Kyler Murray, Marquise Brown, Trey McBride, and possibly Jonathan Taylor there. This could be an offense that could be starting to build some pieces, and they would still need to really build up that defense as well. But we would start seeing the offense kind of go together. I think James Conner, a little bit long in the tooth. I think they're able to get away from James Conner in 2024. His contract only be about $3 million of dead money there. So they're going to be able to get away from if they need to. So that's just the kind of situation it is. But those are definitely the four teams that I see Jonathan Taylor possibly being a part of in 2023. As always, thank you for watching the video. We're putting out videos like this all the time. I'm trying to keep you guys up to date on all types of news that is relevant for fantasy football. If you guys want to hit the subscribe button, would really help me out. Hit a like button on there and leave a comment down below. What do you guys think about Jonathan Taylor going anywhere? Is there somewhere that I didn't mention in this video that you could see Jonathan Taylor going? Can't wait to see you guys on another video We'll see you guys next time.